Dad died 4 years ago. Cancer. Somewhere along the line, I heard that pot is a natural cancer preventative. So almost to the day that Dad was diagnosed, I started smoking pot regularly. So when the results from my PSA test came back a little high a couple months ago, I was not the least bit concerned. When that same number doubled 2 weeks later, I started worrying a little. After the biopsy, the doctor said a lot, but what I heard mostly was, you may have blood in your ejaculate for the next several weeks. I had a question. How long should I wait? 3 to 5 days. Piece of cake. When I saw him for the biopsy results 2 weeks later, he asked if and how many times I ejaculated since the biopsy, and that was easy. 14 minus 3, 11. Then I said, oh my God, you were right. The first time was like if Stephen King wrote hardcore porn. It was CSI My Penis. And it was different every time too. Like the color was being picked by some random word generator. But that random word generator could only use the lyrics in the title song from Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. There was one color it landed on a couple times. I will never be able to drink Yoo-Hoo again.
Oh, Rick.
That's what he told me I had done an amazing job of cleaning out the pipes. He said most guys, after Carrie White comes out of their penis, they don't go back to the prom for several weeks. Then, he gave me a doctor's note that said I should ejaculate as much as I possibly can between now and my surgery. And then he told me I have cancer. That's not possible. I smoke pot regularly. Turns out, I learned a lot in the last few weeks. Like, not so fun fact. Did you know that after a radical prostatectomy, you no longer ejaculate? This is devastating news. I love to ejaculate. And I'll say it, I'm good at it too. If ejaculating was an Olympic sport, I would limp home with a gold medal every time. This show was almost called Puppetry of the Ejaculate. You're in the splash zone. I have a doctor's note. Seriously, it's like my superpower. I can hit a movie cap from across the room. Or aloha, the Hawaiian Islands across my belly. I almost got the solar system, but I could never get enough for Jupiter. Saturn's weirdly easy if you hit your nipple just right. And Pluto nearly blinded me. Now that my husband and I know that my man canon has an expiration date, we've been busier than ever. We're up to 8 shows a week. Equity said if we had a Wednesday matinee, I can hire an understudy. Can you just picture those auditions? Oh, speaking of which, we thought we should make a list of things that maybe we missed out on in 35 years. So, I'm kind of proud to say we only had 2 things on that list. The first was a 3-way. The problem with a 3-way when you've been in a monogamous relationship for 35 years, neither one of you remembers how to find a boy. So, I looked online, seeing about renting boys, but the ones we could afford? The only other thing on our list, so I brought some home last week, poppers. There's a big difference between poppers at 24 and poppers at 61. My husband calls it floppy poppercock. Floppy poppercock! Doesn't that sound like the perfect name for the sex ed teacher at Hogwarts? Floppy poppercock! Totally on the down low with Snape. Oh my god, of course! Snape probably invented poppers! I will admit, I'm kind of looking forward to a new sensation at my age. I don't love that they call it a dry orgasm, but I don't hate it either. No more clean up in automotive, right? Only question I have is, will it make a noise? Does air come out? Like a snail sneezing? Like a queef? Like a queen? Is that the noise it's gonna make? One last not so fun fact. Depending on the size of your tumor, you may lose some length. When I heard that, the opportunist in me immediately thought, hey, you're about to lose your prostate, the ability to ejaculate, and some length. Maybe now is the perfect time to consider transitioning. Split second later, the archivist in me pulls up a Polaroid from Halloween 1994. I was the lost Spice Girl, Old Spice. Oh. I looked like the love child of Bob Newhart and Rue McClanahan. So transitioning was clearly off the table. I'm gonna be fine. They caught it early and a robot does the surgery. What could possibly go wrong? Seriously. I've survived lawn darts, bad conversion therapy, AIDS, COVID-19, monkeypox. Prostate cancer is not taking me down. Well, it is taking me down temporarily. But in 3 to 6 months, back to 8 shows a week. Only this time, no splash zone. Thank you for coming. Speaking of which, if you catch me in the parking lot after the show, remember, I have a doctor's note.